So let's get started again. My name is Jessica Lucke, and I am the Director of Client Success here at Altos Research. Some of you may know me, have interacted with me, and have had training. If you haven't, I definitely recommend taking the time to get a little bit more training, whether it's learning the platform that you have access to, getting an in-depth understanding of the market reports. Why I love these lunch and learns is because I get to think outside the box. I get to do something different than talking about our platform, talking about the market reports, which we will talk about, but I get to focus on something that's a little interesting, right? And so today we're going to be focusing on video market updates. Now I'm going to tell you, I am no pro at video, and I am no video editor by any means. So that's not what we're going to be talking about today. What I want to do is get you up to speed and feel a little bit more comfortable, learn about the power behind using video and the fact that you've got a plethora of data content, right? And so I'm going to hope to inspire you to think differently, not just the big picture, like, okay, I have to share this whole report. You've got a lot more than just that. And you can create content out of just small portions as well. Okay. All right. I'm going to share with you some tools as well that are low cost or no cost and super simple. Yes, I know there is a ton of different platforms out there for creating video content. And if you want to explore those, that's great. I just know that a lot of us have little time, and we don't have the bandwidth to learn a whole different system. And so I like to share things that I use that make life a little easier, okay? And we'll talk about those as well. At the end of the session, you'll be inspired to try something new. And again, be sure to use the chat feature to ask any questions that you might have, okay? All right, so video. Let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to my account. Okay. All right. So what you should see at this point is I have my account open. So Altos Research, right? We answer the question, how's the market today, right? We focus on the active market. We strive to create something that's super simple to understand, right? We want to make sure that the data that we provide is absorbed. Everybody absorbs the information differently. So we like to take the complex data and put it into an easy to understand format. But no matter how easy we make it, the bottom line is someone's going to always prefer you doing the work for them, you going through the data for them, okay? And so that's one really big component. Again, that you want to create content and take our reports and walk them through it. It also creates better engagement, right? So video can help get in front of more people via social media, which we'll talk about. It can help your existing clients better understand the reports you already share with them, and then increase the engagement by showing them how to dive deeper. So those of you who've had that in-depth view of those reports and know the ins and outs, right? You want to share that with your clients. Share the how-to, right? Video does such a great job. For those of you who've interacted with me and have sent me emails on questions, do I respond with a long written, hey, this is how to go about it? Would you prefer it written out like that, or would you prefer to watch so that you can solidify what it is that I'm requesting you or telling you how to do it? It's so much easier, right? And those of you who have asked questions have gotten many looms from me. And so you know that that's my go-to tool, okay? Now, we'll also talk about the fact that you can take these videos and we can incorporate it into your campaign. So if you're sending out reports, again, increase your engagement by showing them how they can dive in deeper, okay? Now, another thing about video, yes, you can use them on social media to obtain leads. Yes, you can keep your clients up to date, right? But there's a lot of power behind recording yourself talking about the market report, okay? It's a great learning experience. You can see where your hiccups are, and you'll be amazed how quickly you are able to go from kind of stuttering to really being able to present it much better, okay? take it from me. So that's another great way to use video. So think of it like that. So again, yes, you can use it in social media for sure. And that's definitely a great way. And we'll talk about that. You can create it as a deep dive. You can go ahead and incorporate it into your campaigns to help educate those who are already receiving your reports. And you can use it for yourself. Record yourself going over that report until you feel confident. Okay. All right. So before we dive into the how, I like to share some tips to think about when it comes to creating video content. The first one in particular, I want to kind of stop at because it could be the roadblock that you're experiencing, which is being a perfectionist. We all have our own levels of being a perfectionist. I am hugely guilty of this. But sometimes you might think, okay, well, I really want to do video, but I don't have, I don't know how to make it all this whiz bang, and I don't know how to have or how to edit video, and I don't know where to start, and I don't have the script. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. Think about what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You want to provide information, right? You want to help people understand what's going on in the market. Okay. And so you don't have to strive for perfection. So don't let that be a roadblock. Even if the first step is just recording yourself to get comfortable talking about the reports, you've got to start somewhere. And so just don't be a perfectionist in that way. Remember that it's the content that you're sharing that is important. And with practice, you'll overcome some of those things. Now, it's one of those do as I say, not as I do, because I am super guilty of it, right? And so I have to continually tell myself, all right, what is important here? And so that is one of the key tips that I have is just don't be a perfectionist. Okay. The next thing is to determine the content that you want to provide. First, you got to think about what is your goal, right? So you've got these great market reports. What is your goal? Is your goal to walk somebody through the entire report? Understand if you're going to go through the entire report, that's going to be somewhat time consuming, right? And so you're going to have to allot a certain amount of time. So understand that there are data visualizations throughout the report that you can do a whole video on. So is your goal to obtain new leads, to educate your existing clients, right? You have to make that decision first before you dive in, because if you're going to go obtain leads, how? Are you going to share it on social media? So social media is a whole beast in itself, right? When you're going to share on things like Instagram, Facebook, right? We're all guilty of sitting there scrolling through the news feed. If something is too long, I'm going to go right through it, right? So you want to make sure that if you're going to share on social media and your goal is to obtain leads, then you're going to want to do what I call a market minute. And I have two that I've created to use it as an example to get you brainstorming about different ideas, right? And I'll share with you how difficult it is to get get information out in that minute. So you might want to give yourself a little bit of grace. Okay. So again, you're going to want to determine what content do you want to provide? What is your goal, right? Do you want it to be longer or shorter? And so that's something that you want to focus on before you dive in. The other thing is consistency. So if you're going to do YouTube, for example, right? Even if you're going to do these weekly market minutes, be consistent, right? Put it on your calendar. Every Monday, you're going to do a market minute and you're going to post it to these social outlets, okay? Whatever you choose to do. LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, okay? All of those are possibilities. Be consistent and you'll find that you'll get a following over time. And that's what's really great. You don't start off that way. You're not going to get that immediately, but the more consistent you are, the more following you will have. And you'll be surprised when you stop all of a sudden, whether you go on vacation or whatnot, how people will be like, wait, where's my weekly update? Right? And so that's another thing there too. Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to make mention of is length. Length is a big one, right? Again, we talk about, what is your goal? So do you want to just give a little tidbit? One thing that I encourage you to do is to remember that when you're looking at your report, you've got so much content. You've got the real-time market profile. You can focus on just the market action index, right? And that's a minute worth of time. You can go and choose a chart, break it down into market segments. Lots of folks don't even know that that exists, that you can look at the segments from most expensive to least expensive. Focus on just that. So if you do the market minute, think about all of the content that you can do. And it doesn't have to necessarily be the same type of content week after week. Every week you can share something unique. And that could be really great, both for you and for your clients or any of your prospects. Okay. All right. So another roadblock that I come across all the time is, okay, well, I don't have anything to do. What do I use to create this content? Okay. And so the next thing I'm going to share is a couple of resources here. Okay. Now I'm not affiliated with any of these. Loom is my favorite. It's dear to my heart because this is what I use every single day. I find it super helpful, really easy to use. And so this link, Jeff is going to go ahead and copy and paste it into the chat. This is one that you can try for free, right? And it's super simple to use. You can create a link that you can share, which is great, but you can also download the video file, which is what you'll need when you share to Instagram, when you share on YouTube, and even you can do it that way on Facebook as well. Okay, so I definitely encourage you to check that out if you don't have a tool. You may be familiar with BombBomb. I know that this is widely used in real estate for real estate agents and et cetera. A lot of times it's incorporated in your CRM. So you might want to check and see if that's something that you already have. And if you do, then great, take advantage of it. This, again, is another simple tool to create content where you can share your screen and have your image as well. Not to say you have to. Some people don't like to be on camera, and that's okay. But sometimes it can be a little bit more powerful to add that personality to your videos, okay? And then, you've got the old school. I want to say old school, it's Zoom. So I started off using just Zoom. And even though I don't have a meeting per se, I can go ahead and record a presentation, a video, and then go ahead and share it in that way as well, okay? So these three links are links that give you access to the tools that you can check out that are either free, low cost, and easy to implement. Okay. All right. So now onward and upward. So we're going to go back here to my platform and we're going to talk about different scenarios. Okay. And so I wanted to do a little experiment on social media. Lots of folks will ask me, hey, what kind of videos can I create for Instagram or for Facebook? And what's the process to do that? Okay. Now I use Loom, of course, right? So I wanted to go through the process of sharing on Instagram and what's possible. So I chose to do an overview. Let's see here. This is my Loom. I did an overview. See, it's about 4 minutes. And I wanted to be able to take this and add it to my Instagram. So we're going to take a step back and say, okay, well, what's the goal? Well, this is to really this is a little longer than I think is ideal, but it's me going through the report here, okay? And if you're using Loom, you literally come up here and you can download the video file. The video file is what's necessary to go and put in Instagram, okay? So here's what it will look like when it's on Instagram. So if you want to go ahead and we'll take a listen to this. Okay, so I'm going to provide a link to this so that you have that as a reference, but you'll see that this goes on. It's about 4 minutes long. But what I want to draw your attention to is how to get this on Instagram and how you could potentially obtain new leads. Because that's an important component of using the video, okay? You'll notice that you're going to put a comment when you go to post this video, okay? And so here it says, here's an overview of Morgan Hill, California market. If you're interested in getting a glimpse at your own market, click the link in my bio and run your search. Okay, this is huge, right? But how do you do this? Because Instagram is a little bit tricky. You can't place ads in, or ads, you can't place links in there, right? So the only place you can place links is in your bio. And so if we go to my bio, you'll see that you actually have to make the adjustment to add a link via the mobile device. Okay, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time on this because I think it's really valuable to share on Instagram, but it's a little cumbersome. Okay, and so here I am, we're in my profile, and I had to add this via my mobile device, but it's super important because in my bio, I can state, how's the market? Never miss important changes in the market. Click the link, enter your area of interest, and view my interactive report. This is great because it's going to be in your bio no matter what content you're creating. So how do you get this link, right? And how do you get it into Instagram? So if we go back to our account here, you may not realize, but when you're looking at this report and you see this search functionality, you can have a link that takes you directly to the search function. When you go to your account, you can click on your first embed button, and up along the top, click on search box. Great, that's it. Copy this link. When we go to click on the link, here's my search. And for those of you who realize that you can search any city or zip nationwide, because that's the coverage that we have. Well, great. If you're going to go and do the search, do you want to get, it's like giving away the cow, right? Or giving away the farm. So you want to make sure that you obtain that contact information, right? Because if I just leave it as is, I can do my search and you don't know anything. But you can configure it so that they were required to provide their contact information. So click on Customize Reports, scroll down, click on Advanced, and modify your lead level form. Okay, lead level. So here on search, so that on search, it's like clicking on subscribe. So on search, they can search, but then this will pop up. They have to add their information, click register, then they can view the report. That contact information pops over to your contacts. Okay, so that means that if you've got it in your bio, okay, so again, you can go use this link. You're going to take this link and add it to your bio in Instagram. So here we are in my profile. It says editing links is only available on your mobile device. Well, lo and behold, I took some screenshots. So here we go. From my phone, you go to your Instagram, click on your profile. This is that first page. You get to add your bio here. So how's the market? Never miss important changes in the market. Click the link, enter your area of interest, and view my interactive report. This is where you click on links. It takes you here to this next page. Click Add External Link, add the URL and the title. Okay, easy peasy. You'll click Save and you're good to go. That will remain until you remove it from your actual profile. So whether you're sharing family pictures or you're going and you're sharing content from your Altos account, there's an opportunity where they can go click, do a search, and view one of your reports. And then you get the opportunity to find out who they are. Okay. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Now, again, you can share on Facebook, right? But again, we're going to go back And we're going to go to our account here and realize that you've got access to so much data, right? Yes, you've got your market reports, and you can go ahead and do a video on the entire thing, but that's not what's required, right? In fact, you can take any of these components. So you can go ahead and say, okay, you know what? I want to go ahead and do just the real-time market profile. I'm going to do a market minute, okay? And just go through some of these things. So if we go now and we say this one here, okay? I was able to capture just the real-time market profile. How? Well, when you go and you use Loom, the great thing is that you can customize the size, right? And you can do full screen, which is what I typically do. But to customize the size, you can choose a portion of your screen, okay? And so that makes it really easy. So any part of the report, if you want to go about it that way, okay? And so this, if we go and we watch this one, you'll see that all right, so I just thought it's helpful to kind of share so you can see what it is that I do to go and try to create something in a minute. And it's a minute and a half. Trust me, the process is like, the best way to equate it is kind of like your outgoing message. For those of you who remember answering machines, it can make you crazy, right? But it's such great practice, like I mentioned. Notice that I go through and talk about those statistics versus just, glancing over the numbers themselves. You want to give them, it's hard to know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. You want to go ahead and reference that. But you see that it's done in just a really quick manner. And this is a little update. So you think about your weekly market minute can be the same location each week. It can be a different location. You can create consistency in the content in which you're providing. Now, an alternative to that is having unique information, something a little bit different, just to share that you've got all kinds of data that you've got access to, okay? And now I'm sharing it in this view because the other was in Instagram, right? The same idea though. So this is a URL that you can share. So Facebook is kind of nice because you can just click and share the link is okay. But I will encourage you to actually, even in Facebook, you go here and gain access to the video. Okay, so you download that video file, which is something I've already done. But you can download that video file and then upload it into Facebook. Now, when you do something like that, I would encourage you to share the link that you are walking through so that they can explore it more. You can even make mention in your video, hey, click on the link within the post to view the full version of the report. And then say, hey, reach out to me if you want your own market report. So there's all kinds of different possibilities there. You can do the same link too that we created to do that search function if you want to incorporate that into your Facebook post. The reason I spent a little time on the Instagram portion is because I feel like it's a great tool, but it's a little bit more cumbersome, right? And so to really maximize your sharing capabilities and lead opportunity, I wanted to kind of touch base on a little bit of that. Okay. And so that's something to consider as well. Now, if we go back here, you have your own account. You've got your locations of interest. And one of the things that I always encourage is to dive in a little bit deeper, take advantage of the content that you've got access to. So we provide these reports at county level. We have these reports at city level, which means, hey, we're going to take into consideration all active inventory for every zip code within the city. That tends to be pretty broad. It can be. So I live in the Bay Area, California. And so San Jose or San Francisco, they both have a gazillion zip codes. And every zip code can behave differently in the market. So what if you use that as a component for one of your videos? So unique insights. So instead of thinking about your market minutes being, the same consistent thing, which is great too, what about having unique insights week after week, where you may take a portion of the report and just highlight what's possible, like breaking it down into segments, right? What about looking into different zip codes and how different each zip code can behave? Why that's valuable, right? So don't forget that in your account, you have got access to, let's say, we do San Jose just for this. So here I've got citywide, and look at all these zip codes, right? So what if you spent some time gaining access to other types of content within your account? Well, for example, you can go click on embed and you can get access to the various components that make up that report. Things like the market profile, live as independent objects, images, but the market action index. Okay. So market action index is really great because you can put a ton of them up together and you can quickly gauge the nature of the market for each location in just a glance, right? Remembering that this white line represents the balanced market and anything greater than that, of course, favors the seller. This is answering the question, hey, how's the market? Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market, and how much so? Also, how's the market today compared to this time last month? Just by looking at one image. And looking at San Jose, there's no real difference between this time right now and this time last month. Okay. So I wanted to create an example of doing just that, creating a unique data insight, because I actually stumbled across it. So I live in Los Gatos, California, right? And so it's made up of a couple of different zip codes. And I live in a neighborhood where when a house is for sale, it's immediately sold, right? Or it's coming soon and it's sold. It's crazy. So it's a crazy hot market as far as I can tell when I walk my neighborhood. Now, walking in all over Los Gatos, there is a neighborhood that's really nice, but we notice that those houses tend to sit a little bit longer, right? Great. I'm just observant in that way, given what I do. But when I get the market report for Los Gatos citywide, it doesn't really work, right? For me, it doesn't really represent what I'm seeing for my neighborhood. Okay. And so that brings me to my next one, which is our market action index. So I'm going to play this one. Okay. It's kind of funny to listen to myself, but anyway, so notice there that I did break this down. This is just literally a Word doc. I just grabbed the images, created a just one pager, and then we talked through it. Something that you can easily do, right? I live in this 95032. It's remarkable how different they are, right? And so this can be super, super helpful when you're dealing with buyers and sellers. And again, to really pack the power behind Altos and the reports versus other reports that they may have access to, right? This is what's happening right now, not what was happening last month. This is what's happening in each zip code, not the whole city or county for that purpose, right? So this can be super powerful. But at the end, you notice that I said, hey, once you're own, drop the word market in the comments. So whether it's Instagram, whether it is YouTube or Facebook, they can just place that one word. Then you reach out to them to find out, hey, what location do they need? Okay. Or again, use that link in the actual post itself where they can do their own search, drop their information, and you're good to go. Okay. So there's lots of possibilities there, but you do want to put your call to action, whether it be verbally in your video or in the post associated to the video. Okay. And so now if we go and we take a look, I've got your directions here, but here, this is one of the images or one of the resources that we're going to place into the chat, but it's also going to be sent with the recording. So I just wanted to show so that you have something to reference how I set this up in case you wanted to do something similar. This, although it's hard for you, I'm sure at this point to read, but you can have access to it. This is the script that I used in order to just convey the whole idea. And you can put it into your own words, but I just thought it might be super helpful to have something instead of nothing, right? And so this is one. And you'll notice that at the bottom, I included the link to the video that we just watched so that you can kind of use that as your gauge in case you'd like that, okay? In addition, I have the script available for that market minute, which is the one where I kind of focused on just the real-time market profile. Okay, so you would just insert your own information. Okay, it's super simple. Remember, try to keep it at a minute and a half. Give yourself some grace. I didn't do it to myself, and I probably did it 100 times. So don't feel bad if that's the case for you. It's all practice, right? But it's just talking about, hey, let's go ahead and take a look at the latest insights from the real-time market profile. Great. We're going to look at median list price. It's super important to not just state what it exists right now. You want to look over the last 3 months, show them that they can. Days on market, right? Focus on the median days on market. Look at where you stand now, make sure you make mention, and then compare it over the last 3 months. And because of that, what are you seeing? Are you seeing an uptick in median days? Is that affecting the overall state of the market? Inventory levels, where do you stand, right? What is that number now? What has it been over the last 3 months? And what is it indicating? Market action index, to summarize the overall market condition. So again, you're honing it back to the market action index being the basic end all. What is the state of the market, right? What is it now? What has it been? And where do you expect it to go? Is it leveled out? Is it increasing? Is it heating up? Is it decreasing, cooling off, right? So that's what you want to make mention and then close it up, right? Keep it tight. And so do you read from the script? Not necessarily. So you're going to practice it quite a few times, right? You want to have personality in there too. Okay. So you'll see whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I use my hands a lot. I promise I'm not even Italian to do it. See? But in any case, you want to go ahead and just at least lay it out, focus on some of the things. And then when you're doing the recording, you don't want to necessarily read from the script, but at least you have something. I've done it where I just go blindly and it doesn't go that well, right? So this is another resource that we're sending. The link will be included to that 1 minute, right? Just so that you can kind of reference what this is about. And then lastly, we have the big one, kind of, This one just goes into a little greater detail. For example, I like to go into, the price decrease. I feel like that's super valuable, particularly if you're working with sellers. The status, but it's really great to have the data back you up. I like to talk about days on market. I like to focus on, okay, what makes it different than the average days on market. But you've got all of this information here, okay? And then again, this is a link to my Instagram version, which will have the excerpt if you need it for the post itself, referencing the bio, okay? This Loom link will take you to the Loom video, okay? The Loom, at the Loom level, so the creation level, you can determine to have the closed captioning. I think I like it, but sometimes it takes up a lot of space. But you can decide to have, closed caption or not. You can speed it up, which is hilarious, or not. But this way you can look at the two different versions, but this is the script that you can kind of work from to create, a little longer one. Because again, one of the use cases here is to help your existing clients better understand what you are sending to them. So going back here, lastly, in your account, if you're sending reports via a campaign, don't forget you can embed links into your campaign. So if you want to do these market minutes and include it, which is kind of cool because you can do that every week, and before it goes out, place it into the campaign. How do you do it? So click on this, go into the body and add it. So you can write it out, say, hey, view my video, and then use the link here and put that URL, okay? So if we say, take a look and let me know if you have any questions, view video, highlight, scroll up, oops, sorry. Then click on that. And then you put your URL here and click OK. Easy peasy. And now that will go out. You'll have fresh content in your campaign, and that could be really a great tool. Okay. So consider that too. So there's plenty of space for video. There's plenty of tools available for you to use for video. Just remember, don't strive for perfection. Have an idea of what your goal is by doing the video. Understand the timing, right? And have fun, right? Hopefully this today has been helpful for you. I hope you enjoy the resources. And I'm excited to see what you do. You're welcome to share with me. So if you want to, send me your Instagram link, if you want to send me your Loom or any other recorded video, I would love it. Oftentimes I get to say and talk about it, but I don't get to see the end result. So